Imagine waking up every morning with clarity, not rushing, not confused, but knowing exactly why you exist. Picture having that deep sense of purpose that makes you excited to start each day, that gives you energy even when life gets tough. Most of us spend years searching for this feeling, jumping from job to job, relationship to relationship, hoping to stumble upon meaning. But what if I told you there's a concept that could change everything about how you approach life? In Japan, this reason is called Ikigai, which literally translates to a reason to live. It's not just another self-help buzzword or trendy philosophy. Ikigai represents something much deeper, a way of living that has helped entire communities not just survive, but thrive well into their hundreds. Today, we're going to explore this powerful concept that could transform how you think about purpose, happiness, and what it means to live a truly fulfilling life. The word Ikigai comes from two Japanese words, Iki meaning life, and Gai meaning worth or value. Together, they create this beautiful idea that your life has inherent worth, that you have a unique reason for being here. But here's what makes Ikigai so special. It's not some grand cosmic purpose that you need to discover through years of meditation or soul searching. Your Ikigai can be simple, quiet, and still incredibly powerful. Think about it this way. Ikigai exists at the intersection of four fundamental elements. First, what you love, the things that light you up inside, that make you lose track of time. Second, what you're good at, your natural talents and developed skills. Third, what the world needs, the problems you can help solve or the value you can provide. And fourth, what you can be rewarded for, whether that's money, recognition, or simply the satisfaction of contribution. When these four elements overlap, that's where you find your Ikigai. But here's the crucial part that many people miss. Ikigai isn't just about your career or some major life mission. It extends far beyond work into the small daily joys that make life worth living. Maybe your Ikigai is teaching your neighbor's kid how to ride a bike. Maybe it's perfecting your grandmother's recipe. Maybe it's the way you make people laugh during difficult times. The beauty of Ikigai is that it recognizes life's complexity. You don't need to find one single purpose and stick to it forever. Your Ikigai can evolve, shift, and grow as you do. What matters is that you're living with intention, that you're connected to something meaningful, no matter how small it might seem to others. Now, let's talk about where this concept really comes to life. There's a place called Okinawa, a group of islands in Japan, that has become legendary for something remarkable. Okinawa has one of the highest numbers of centenarians in the world. We're talking about people who regularly live past 100 years old, and not just surviving, but thriving, active, engaged, and genuinely happy. What's their secret? It's not some miracle drug or genetic lottery. The Okinawans have built their entire culture around the principles of Ikigai, and the results speak for themselves. Let's break down the factors that contribute to their extraordinary longevity. First, they have incredibly strong social bonds. In Okinawa, there's a concept called moai, which refers to a group of lifelong friends who support each other through everything. These aren't just casual friendships. These are deep, committed relationships where people genuinely care for each other's well-being. They meet regularly, share meals, celebrate successes, and provide support during tough times. This social connection isn't just nice to have, it's literally life-extending. Second, they live with remarkably low stress. Now, this doesn't mean their lives are problem-free, but they've developed a different relationship with stress. They don't rush through life. They don't constantly worry about things beyond their control. They focus on what they can influence and let go of what they can't. This mindset creates a sense of peace that permeates everything they do. Third, their diet is predominantly plant-based, rich in vegetables, sweet potatoes, tofu, and greens. They eat very little sugar and almost never overeat. There's a practice called hara-hachibu, which means eating until you're 80% full. This isn't about restriction or deprivation. It's about mindful eating, about listening to your body and respecting its signals. Fourth, they incorporate daily movement into their lives naturally. They're not hitting the gym for intense workouts. Instead, they walk, garden, do tai chi, and stay physically active as part of their daily routine. Movement isn't separate from life. It's woven into the fabric of how they live. But perhaps most importantly, they have a clear sense of purpose that never retires. In Okinawa, there's no word for retirement in the way we understand it. They don't retire from life. Even at 90+ years old, people continue to farm, teach, help their communities, and feel needed. They wake up each day knowing they have something valuable to contribute. This brings us to a crucial point about purpose and health. Having a clear Ikigai, a reason to get up in the morning, has profound effects on your physical and mental well-being. When you have purpose, you experience less anxiety and depression. You recover faster from illness and injury. You have better immune function. You sleep better. You handle stress more effectively. But here's what's really interesting. Purpose doesn't come from chasing success, fame, or external validation. It comes from contribution and meaning. It comes from feeling like you matter, like your existence makes a difference, even in small ways. The Okinawans understand this intuitively. Their purpose isn't about achieving something grand. It's about being useful, being connected, being present in their communities. This connects to another important concept related to Ikigai, the idea of flow state. Flow is when time disappears. It's that feeling you get when you're completely absorbed in an activity, when you're challenged but not overwhelmed, when you're using your skills in service of something meaningful. During flow, you're not thinking about the past or worrying about the future. You're completely present, completely engaged. Flow states are incredibly important for mental health and cognitive function. They keep your brain active and engaged, which is crucial for maintaining mental sharpness as you age. When you regularly experience flow, you're essentially exercising your mind, keeping it flexible and resilient. This is one of the reasons why people who live by Ikigai principles often maintain their mental acuity well into old age. So how do you cultivate this flow state? It happens when you engage in activities that match your skills with appropriate challenges. If something is too easy, you get bored. If it's too hard, you get anxious. But when the challenge level is just right, when you're stretching yourself without breaking, that's when flow happens. And the more you can align these flow activities with your Ikigai, the more fulfilling your life becomes. Now let's get practical. What does it actually look like to live by Ikigai principles on a daily basis? The people of Okinawa have developed specific habits that support their longevity and happiness, and these habits are surprisingly simple. First, they wake up slowly. There's no jarring alarm clock, no rushing out of bed to immediately start a frantic day. They allow themselves time to transition from sleep to wakefulness, to set intentions for the day, to connect with their sense of purpose before diving into activities. Second, they move their bodies every single day. This doesn't mean intense exercise routines. It means walking, stretching, gardening, dancing, or any form of movement that feels natural and enjoyable. The key is consistency, not intensity. They understand that the body is meant to move, and they honor that need daily. Third, they practice hara-hachi-bu, eating until they're 80% full. This requires mindfulness and self-awareness. It means eating slowly, paying attention to hunger and satiety cues, and stopping before you feel stuffed. This practice alone can have tremendous effects on energy levels, digestion, and overall health. Fourth, they avoid extremes in all areas of life. They don't work themselves to exhaustion, but they also don't become completely sedentary. They don't overeat, but they don't severely restrict themselves either. They don't isolate themselves, but they also value solitude. This balanced approach creates sustainability and reduces stress. Let's talk more specifically about the dietary habits that support longevity. The Okinawan diet is fascinating because it's not about restriction or complicated rules. It's about abundance, but abundance of the right things. Their plates are colorful, filled with a variety of vegetables, each providing different nutrients and antioxidants. Sweet potatoes are a staple, providing complex carbohydrates and beta-carotene. Tofu and other soy products provide protein and beneficial compounds. Leafy greens like spinach and bok choy provide vitamins and minerals. Seaweed adds iodine and other trace elements. Fish provides omega-3 fatty acids. The variety ensures they're getting a wide range of nutrients. But perhaps more importantly, they view food as fuel, not as entertainment or emotional escape. They eat when they're hungry and stop when they're satisfied. They don't use food to cope with stress or boredom. This healthy relationship with food is just as important as the specific foods they choose. They also eat very little sugar compared to typical Western diets. This isn't because sugar is evil, but because excessive sugar consumption can lead to inflammation, energy crashes, and various health problems. By keeping sugar intake low, they maintain stable energy levels and reduce their risk of chronic diseases. Now comes the big question. How do you find your own Ikigai? How do you discover that intersection of passion, skill, need, and reward that will give your life meaning and direction? The process starts with honest self-reflection, but not the kind that involves sitting in a cave for months. It's about paying attention to your daily experiences and asking yourself some key questions. First, what activities make time disappear for you? When do you get so absorbed in what you're doing that you lose track of hours? These flow experiences are clues to your Ikigai. Maybe it's when you're cooking, writing, teaching, building something with your hands, or having deep conversations with friends. Pay attention to these moments. Second, what would you do even if you weren't paid for it? What activities do you find so inherently rewarding that external motivation isn't necessary? This isn't about finding your dream job necessarily. It's about identifying what genuinely energizes you, what you're drawn to naturally. Third, what problems do you notice in the world that you feel compelled to address? What injustices make you angry? What suffering makes you want to help? Your Ikigai often lies in the intersection between your abilities and the world's needs. You don't have to solve global warming or end world hunger. Maybe your contribution is helping elderly neighbors with technology or teaching kids in your community to read. Fourth, how can you use your unique strengths and experiences to serve others? Everyone has something valuable to offer, some combination of skills, knowledge, and perspective that's uniquely theirs. Your Ikigai might be found in sharing what you've learned, in using your talents to make other people's lives better. But here's the crucial part. You don't find your Ikigai by thinking about it endlessly. You find it by experimenting, by trying things, by taking small actions and seeing what resonates. Ikigai is discovered through experience, not analysis. Start small. Choose one area where you think your interests, skills, and the world's needs might overlap, and take one small action. Volunteer for an hour. Take a class. Have a conversation with someone who's doing work you find interesting. Write something. Create something. Help someone. Pay attention to how these activities make you feel. Do they energize you or drain you? Do they feel meaningful or empty? Do you want to do more, or are you relieved when they're over? Your emotional responses are data. Use them to guide your next steps. Remember, your Ikigai doesn't have to be your full-time job, at least not initially. It can start as a side project, a hobby, a volunteer activity, or simply a different way of approaching your current responsibilities. The goal isn't to completely overhaul your life overnight. It's to gradually align more of your time and energy with activities that feel meaningful and fulfilling. Also, don't expect to find one single Ikigai that will define your entire life. You might have multiple Ikigais, or your Ikigai might evolve as you grow and change. The key is to stay connected to that sense of purpose, to keep asking yourself what matters to you and how you can contribute. One of the most beautiful aspects of Ikigai is that it's accessible to everyone, regardless of age, background, or circumstances. You don't need special qualifications or resources. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the ideal conditions. You can start building your Ikigai today with whatever you have, wherever you are. Maybe your Ikigai is being the person who always remembers birthdays and makes people feel special. Maybe it's perfecting your ability to explain complex ideas in simple terms. Maybe it's creating beautiful spaces that make people feel peaceful. Maybe it's being the friend who listens without judgment. Maybe it's growing food that nourishes your family and neighbors. The point is that Ikigai isn't about grand gestures or world-changing achievements. It's about finding meaning in the everyday, about living with intention and purpose, about contributing to something larger than yourself in whatever way feels authentic to you. As we wrap up our exploration of Ikigai, let's remember the key lessons from this powerful concept. Ikigai is not something you find overnight. It is something you build daily through small actions, mindful choices, and consistent commitment to what matters most to you. The Okinawans have shown us that longevity isn't just about living longer, it's about living better. It's about maintaining purpose, connection, and joy throughout your entire life. It's about never retiring from meaning, never giving up on growth, never losing your sense of wonder and curiosity. Your Ikigai might be quiet and simple, or it might be bold and ambitious. It might involve helping one person at a time, or it might involve reaching thousands. What matters is that it's yours, that it reflects your unique combination of passions, talents, and values. The beautiful truth about Ikigai is that it's always available to you. In every moment, you have the opportunity to choose purpose over emptiness, connection over isolation, contribution over consumption. You have the power to wake up each morning with clarity about why you exist and what you have to offer the world. So as you move forward from here, remember the wisdom of Okinawa. Live slowly, without rushing through the precious moments of your life. Stay useful, finding ways to contribute and serve others. Stay curious, maintaining that sense of wonder and willingness to learn. Eat mindfully, move daily, laugh often, and nurture your relationships. Most importantly, trust that your Ikigai is waiting for you, not in some distant future or exotic location, but in the simple moments of your everyday life. It's in the conversations you have, the problems you solve, the beauty you create, the love you share. Your reason for living is already within you. Now it's time to let it shine.